our Sunday late morning program, or whatever you call it. So it seems like Saturday evening is your main weekly program, right? And Sunday is the more confidential group. Okay, so today we have the topic of chanting, deepening our relationship with the Holy Name, which is definitely such an important topic. And I have this deep conviction that we don't make enough effort to get on deeper levels of chanting. Yeah, that's why I like to conduct these Holy Name retreats. I think I mentioned it already once. Every year in Iskcon. Who has been to Iskcon? Not many. Really? Iskcon? Prabhu, you haven't been to Iskcon?
In December. He will go soon.
In December? Well, if you come 24th to 28th of December, that's when I have a Holy Name retreat in Iskcon. We stay there for 4 nights. So why don't you come for that?
So, Mataji, I think I misunderstood. We are actually going to Mayapur.
Yeah, but Mayapur, from there we're going to Iskcon. Yeah, it's about 3.5, 4 hours by bus. So I arrange everything. All you have to do is be 1 or 2 days before the retreat starts. You're in Mayapur, and I arrange a big bus, the accommodation, prasadam. You have to register on my website, and everything else I take care of. So we stay there for 4 nights, and you get a folder with printed materials. I take my audience on a whole journey. We have exercises, sharing in japa and kirtan, evening kirtans where we apply what we discussed during the day. It's quite a transformational journey, especially if you're willing to switch off your mobile phone for the whole 4 days. Then you actually enter a different reality. It's very powerful. And we also go on Parikrama. We visit all the main holy places connected with Nityananda Prabhu. It's Nityananda's birthplace, Iskcon. So if you're there anyway, you may as well plan your whole trip that you can take that along. Yeah, I can promise you, you will not regret it. Yeah, so these Holy Name retreats are very powerful because, see, our life in the modern days is full of distractions. It's very fast, especially social media, internet, so many distractions are there. So sometimes, preferably every year, we should put some time aside where our only focus is the Holy Name and nothing else. And when we have this mood that everything can wait, nothing is more important than the Holy Name, and we park everything until after the retreat, then we get quite deep insights into eternal reality, which is my relationship with Krishna in form of the Holy Name. That's eternal reality. Everything else here is just a crazy circus here of the material world. And the crazy circus curtain closes at the moment of death. It's all over. Yeah, so please, I mean, it would be such an honor for me to receive some of you there in Iskcon one day and give you a really nice experience. Yes, so Holy Name is a very deep secret and science, and very often we take it very lightly and cheaply. You know, we're just blabbering something along there and we think this is chanting the holy name. And we may be surprised that after 25 or 30 years of blabbering something, we still don't really make much advancement, and there's still all the same material desires and attachments there in the heart. So this is because we are actually not really making an effort to get on deeper levels of understanding. And let us first of all understand, any activity which we do very regularly, easily that over-familiarity sneaks in. And over-familiarity means we take it lightly and cheaply, we forget what we are actually doing. This, by the way, can also happen when we are serving every morning on the altar. You know? That every morning we do the puja and abhishek dressing. So very easily, this can become some routine business, some mechanical thing. Or offering flowers to Prabhupada, you know? It's very easily, it just becomes mechanical, external, we just do the thing, you know, and we don't even think about it. Our heart is not involved, you know. Yeah, so puja on the altar can also become like that. And we forget that we are actually offering personal service to the Lord. We are not just decorating Him, no, we are dressing Him and bathing Him. It's a whole thing, you know, yeah. So, and then very easily we lose respect for the activity, we become mechanical, and then we commit offenses, right? So, and this is of course also happening in our chanting of japa. Let me see, who is chanting some amount of rounds every day? Lift your hand. Some amount, every day. Doesn't have to be 16, but some. Okay? Yeah, most of you, but not everybody. Yes. So let us understand, and we have heard this many times, that Krishna and His holy name, they are non-different. Right? We've heard this many times, right? Yeah. But to actually deeply understand and realize this is not so easy. So Krishna, by His mercy, He is extending Himself into the material world by giving us His holy name. And let me ask you, why do we chant? Why do we chant? Let's do a bit of brainstorming here. Why do we chant? Come on, any suggestions? Why do we chant?
To connect with Krishna.
Okay, good. So we got the right answer already. Because sometimes people say, oh, to control the mind, to purify the heart, to be peaceful, and. But yeah, that's all very right too. But the main and foremost reason for chanting is to reconnect, to re-establish this lost and forgotten relationship. Yeah. And by the way, it's interesting to observe that all religions have this practice of chanting on beads, right? We find this in Christianity, Muslims, Buddhists, they all have beads, Hindus. And all the religions have one thing in common, that today nobody's doing it anymore. Right? You know, which Hindus, apart from, you know, Iskcon or Gaudiya Math or something, which Hindus are still chanting on beads? It's pretty rare. Maybe some grandma in the villages is still doing it, but otherwise people stop doing it. Same in Christianity, who is praying on the rosary? Practically nobody anymore. So that's why Mahaprabhu appeared to re-establish this chanting of the Mahamantra for everyone, not only for the Hindus, for everyone actually, because in all religions this practice faded away. So yeah, we chant the holy name to reconnect, and even the word religion, it comes from Latin, religere, means to reconnect. Same like yoga, yoke, to reconnect. So all religions have that thing in common, that we want to reconnect with Krishna. So, yeah, that's why we chant. And that's why Krishna extends himself into the material world by giving us his holy name. And, the fact that Krishna and his holy name are non-different, it actually means that just by chanting the holy name, we can get the same benefit as meeting Krishna face to face. Wow, amazing. So let's just imagine here in Mombasa, we announce, so today, Sunday at 12, we can meet Krishna face to face here in our Iskcon temple. I'm sure every Hindu would come. Nobody would want to miss out on that, to actually get the personal association with Krishna. So we all know how important association is, whenever sannyasis, gurus, sadhus come, we're all very keen to get some little association, some glimpse, some merciful smile, whatever. So what to speak of direct association with Krishna? Amazing, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, but we become over-familiar, we forget this, and yeah, we take it lightly and cheaply. Actually, it's interesting, especially in the Western world, meditation is very common now, very popular. Almost on every street corner of a big city, you have some meditation place. This is usually some Mayavadi impersonal meditation. But we have to accept the fact that they take their meditation usually much more seriously than we do. When they meditate, they put a sign on the door, don't disturb, I'm meditating, and they put on the Mayavadi meditation music and light the candle, and they sit there and I'm meditating. But what are we doing, We're walking around and mumbling something along there, and we call that our meditation, right? Even though our form of meditation brings us to the highest place, abode, to Goloka Vrindavan. No other meditation can get us there, But yet, we are taking it so lightly, my God, Yes, that's the sad thing. So now, I'm sure we know that there are 10 offenses to chanting the holy name, right? In most temples, we recite the 10 offenses after Mangalarti, and then we say there is also an 11th offense, which is, what's the 11th offense to chanting the holy name? To be inattentive while chanting, yes. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this inattentiveness in chanting is actually the root cause for all other offenses. Yeah. So even on our holy name retreat, 3-4 days, all I'm actually unpacking is what it means to be inattentive while chanting. You can talk about that for 3 full days. It's a complex topic. Yeah. Because I'm the kind of person I like to go to the roots of the problem. So if this inattentiveness is the root, so let's understand that. Oh, today we didn't let the ladies move closer here. But anyway, now we've started already, so we'll skip it. I just remembered. So he's moving over there. Okay. Yes. So inattentiveness is the root problem for everything. And inattentiveness takes place on 3 levels. On the level of the body, on the level of the mind, and what's the 3rd level? False ego is one of my main topics, but the answer doesn't always fit. I'm sorry. So, body, mind, and
intellect. For me, I will tell the voice of the
no big explanation. One word.
Environment.
Body, mind, and heart. Now we got it. Just see how disconnected we are from the heart level. You know, people always say intelligence, soul, but they forget the heart. Bhakti is all about transforming the heart. You know, yes, that's what Bhakti is all about. Yes. Yes, but the heart has to be involved in order for it to get transformed. You know, so these are the 3 levels of attentiveness. Yeah, so let us understand very briefly what these 3 levels, what it practically means. So inattentiveness on the level of the body basically means that while we chant our prescribed number of rounds, I'm not talking about the extra rounds, which we don't even need to count, but our prescribed number of rounds, inattentiveness on the level of the body means we do something else while we chant, right? The mood is we are trying to maximize our time. That we think, well, I've still got these rounds left, but I do want to be in the class. So, all right, I'll sit right in the furthest away corner and I quietly chant my rounds and I also hear the class, so I'm not missing out, right? But no, that's inattentive chanting. We can do only one thing, either listen to the class or chant our rounds. Yeah. Or let's say we sit on public transport, if you ever catch public transport, or maybe the flight, you know. So, and then, all right, I'm traveling, or we're sitting on the train for 3 hours. Okay, great, my japa time. And then while we travel, we chant. Well, we will do a little chanting exercise today, which will probably give us the realization how this is also inattentiveness. Because in public, how can we really call out to Krishna when we have all these people around wondering what the hell we are doing there? You know, I want to share one funny story with you. One devotee told me he was traveling on the train and trying to chant. And opposite him were all kinds of people sitting. It was in Ukraine, actually, so before the war. So, yeah, people don't know in that part of the world what is this chanting. So, and he was kind of trying to hide the fact that he was chanting, you know, and having his hand there and quietly chanting. So, and then he overheard a discussion of the people opposite him. And one was saying to the other, oh, look, he's got this little bag there. I'm wondering what's inside, you know. And then the other one person says, yeah, see, and something is moving in this bag. Yes, oh, there's something moving inside. And then the other one says, yeah, and I hear this pss, 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 pss. You know. Oh yeah, it sounds like birds twiddling. And then the conclusion is, yes, he must have some birds in this bag, and they are twiddling along there. You know, so if you have people opposite and around you talking like this, how can you chant attentively? Not possible. You know? Yes. Oh, you know, I mean, the list is long. Going shopping on the market, this, that, driving the car with one hand in the bead bag. Oh, thank God, now we have the counters, right? There used to be the mechanical clickers, now we have the little digital clickers, the digital counters. Let me ask, who of you is chanting on the counters? Only one, two, three. Anybody else? Be honest. So I hope after this session you're going to throw the counter out. They actually shouldn't even be sold in our temple shops. It's the easiest way to cultivate inattentive chanting. Yeah. If we can't chant on our beats, wrong time to chant. Because these counters, you don't even have to finish one round. You know, you can click here and click there with the left hand, right hand, and dirty hand, and whatever. And then in the evening, you get the calculator out, divided by 108. Oh, wow, so many rounds I've chanted. I mean, it's nonsense, actually. It's complete Kali Yuga nonsense. Unless we are paralyzed or something and we can't move the beads, there is no justification for this chanting on the counter. And sometimes people say, well, I'm chanting extra. No need for counting the extra rounds. Just chant. You know, no need to count, because very easily we cheat ourselves and we say, oh, actually, I chanted already so many rounds. You know? Yes. So, yeah. And please don't chant in the class. We just mentioned it when you walked in. You just came at the right time to hear it. Yes. Or, well, what is the biggest distraction in our chanting? Yes. And we can say, oh, this is really Mahaprabhu's special arrangement for Kali Yuga, that we have this finger here, you know, and we can still, I have my beads here, and we can scroll and we can write quickly a text message and special mercy for Kali Yuga. But now it's the biggest distraction, the phone. As I mentioned, that's why I live without a phone. Yeah, so there's such a long list of all kinds of varieties of inattentive chanting on the level of the body, right? So there's not only the mood of trying to maximize our time. While chanting, we do something else, you know, just to get these rounds done, get them out of the way. Actually, we can say our joy comes from, oh, thank God I finished my rounds, you know, and not from the actual chanting of the holy name. But then there's also another mood. The other mood is to pass this boring japa time in a more entertaining way, you know, by going for jolly walks and looking at the birds and the bees and the nice view from the mountains and the ocean and how beautiful, you know, and we do that in our japa time, simply passing the boring japa time with more entertaining and pleasing ways, you know, or yes, or We distract ourselves by looking at all kinds of pictures on the internet. You know? Oh, let's have a look, what's the darshan in Mayapur, and in Vrindavan, and in New York, and in Los Angeles, and oh, how nice, and let's have a look at this, and at that, and, you know. So it's all pretty subtle. There's a difference of simply distracting ourselves by visual stimulations and looking at one picture in order to help us connect with Krishna, right? Subtle difference. So I'm not saying we can't look at any pictures. No, we can look at pictures, but it has to be deep and prayerful and meditative, and not just consuming visual stimulations. You know, it's a difference. Or once one Mataji asked me, so when I'm in Mayapur and I'm looking at Radha Madhava and I'm designing the next outfit in my mind while I chant, is that inattentiveness? Yes, it is. You know, you're designing the next outfit in your mind there while you're chanting japa. This is multitasking again, you know. So, yes. Yeah, so that's basically on the level of the body, you know, doing something else, cooking, shoveling things around, wiping the dust, and doing this and that, or making burfi, or whatever, you know. Yeah. So then inattentiveness on the level of the body, mind, it basically means, well, one main function of the mind is to make plans. So using our japa time for a plan-making session, right? So many plans, shopping list, and next preaching program, and my trip to India, and who to marry and who not to marry, and whatnot, you know, so many different plans. Yeah. And sometimes people say, oh, it's strange, every time I chant, I get the best ideas. They must be coming straight from Goloka Vrindavan. But no, sorry, it's inattentive chanting. Yeah. So, and then the most crucial level is the heart. Inattentiveness on the level of the heart, meaning the heart is not involved. Yeah. Actually, Prabhupada gave us a nice analogy how we should chant. I'm sure we have all heard this. What did Prabhupada say? How should we chant? Like a Yes, like a child crying in helplessness and desperation for his mother. That's how we're meant to chant. So most of us, we have heard it, but are we chanting like this? Are we? No, we are not. Why aren't we chanting in helplessness, crying out? Why? Why are we not chanting like that? Now you can come with your answer. Yeah, good. The false ego makes us think, I'm pretty cool, I've got it all under control. Life is not so bad here in Kenya. I've got my nice home, and my servants, and my bank balance, and my nice car. And yes, not so bad, you know. Yeah. Actually, there is a very powerful purport in the first canto. It's the purport to when Queen Kunti is asking for the calamities to come again and again. And there Prabhupada says that a person situated in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. in chanting the holy name? Yeah, so that's what Prabhupada says. When people are situated in great material satisfaction, they cannot be so sincere, meaning great material satisfaction, how can you hopelessly call out? You know? You feel everything is going fine. Anybody of you has been to Australia? So in Australia, every second sentence people say, what is it? What do people say in Australia? No worries, mate. No worries, mate. No worries, mate. It's all no worries, mate. So how can you feel helpless with a no worries, mate attitude? You know. And I think here in Kenya, it's also a bit no worries, mate. Isn't it?
Hakuna matata.
Huh?
Hakuna matata.
What's that?
No worries, no tension.
Is that what people say here? Is it? Is that the local Kenyan language? Okay. Just see. So you've got it here too, you know? Yeah, it's all, you know, the fruits are so tasty and yeah. Yeah, so that's the problem. And then in that same purport, Prabhupada even goes further and says, therefore, the 4 principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and bodily beauty, they are, so to speak, disqualifications for making progress on the path of bhakti. Wow. Yeah, so we better be careful. You know, why are they, so to speak, disqualifications? Prabhupada doesn't make it absolute, but he makes it a little relative. So why? Exactly. You know, as soon as we have some little opulence, some good wealth, some big nice house, some high education, oh, I'm a PhD and professor and this and that, so immediately we get puffed up about it. And then how can we helplessly call out? Not possible. Right? Yeah. Yes. So now going back to the analogy of the child. When a child cries for his mother, the child does not have the problem of a wandering mind, right? The child doesn't say, oh, it's strange, every time I cry for my mother, I'm thinking of so many other things, with whom to play and what to play and where to play. No, child does not have that problem, right? No. Because there's no room in the child's mind for any other thought except, where is my mother? I need her right now. There is this desperation there. I need you. Yeah. So, and this gives us already the solution to the wandering mind, to actually involve the heart. That's the solution. Very often we hear the question, what to do when the mind is wandering? And the standard answer is, pull it back in here, right? So that's a good start, but it's not everything. Because if we leave it at that, pull it back in here, okay, for 2 or 3 mantras we can concentrate again, then the mind wanders, we pull it back in here, wanders, pull it back in here. So we end in a boxing match with the mind, which will not get us anywhere. So the answer is to involve the heart. That's the answer. You have to scratch some feelings of helplessness and desperation together. And then we will be able to, then the mind will be drawn to the heart. Yeah, so we have to involve the heart. So now going back to the point we made, that the chanting is to reconnect, to re-establish this relationship with Krishna. So in developing any relationship in our life, what is the very first step? Even with friends, family, husband, wife, what's the first step in developing any deeper relationship with somebody? Huh? To know about them? Yeah. Well, to be mindful of their presence. Right? That we realize, oh, there is a wife there, or a husband, and they have some feelings, some needs, you know? They want some attention. Right? Yeah. To give attention to that person. That is the first step, otherwise there's no question of developing any relationship. So, and same thing is there also in our relationship with Krishna, that the first step is that we have to be mindful of his presence. We have to mindfully turn to him. Krishna, I know you're there. You know? Yes. So, and now we are getting to our japa exercise. And even if you did not bring your beads, doesn't mean you have to run out now to the car and get them or something. So we can count on our fingers, or we can just chant without beads. Doesn't matter. So I would like to chant one round with you. Okay, he's distributing the bead bags to their family. Okay. Yeah, so we want to chant one round, and we chant everybody in our own pace and rhythm, because we all have a different speed and rhythm. I have to warn you, I chant pretty slow. I need 10 minutes for one round. So you may finish your round before me, but I hope you will allow me to also finish my round. So we want to chant one round, deeply from within the heart, mindfully turning to Krishna. Feelingly call out to him, Krishna, I know you're there. Please accept me. Who do we think we are that Krishna so easily accepts us? You know, it's not such a cheap thing to be accepted into the, you know, Krishna's divine abode, you know. So there has to be some eagerness, some greed. Rupa Goswami tells us, some lolium we need. And we express that in chanting. So there should be some longing in our heart for the relationship. Krishna, I need you, I want you, please accept me. So we want to chant with that feeling in the heart, right? And it can be helpful in our exercise, at least here, to close our eyes, because the eyes is the sense perception which distracts us the most. Oh, look at here, look at there, you know. So by closing our eyes, we can more easily concentrate on the hearing, right? Yeah, so let us try and do that. We chant one round, trying to really feelingly appeal to Krishna, turning to him, giving him our attention, longing for the relationship. Okay? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I don't hear anything. You can chant a little louder, you know. We want to cry out to Krishna. I don't even hear anything. Are you chanting, or are you just sleeping or something? Huh? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna 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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Guru Premanandi, Hare Hare. So, how did you go? Did you think it was easy? No. Thank God you say no. If you would say yes, I would say, what are you doing in the material world then? If it's so easy, you shouldn't be here then. No, it's not so easy at all, because we are in such a habit of ignoring Krishna. You know? For many, many lifetimes we have turned our back to him. So just by getting in touch with Iskcon, it doesn't mean we put an end to this ignoring of Krishna. You know? Yes. In fact, we can easily, completely cut Krishna out of the picture in our so-called Krishna consciousness. That we are so busy, with our work, our family, our services, our projects, making all these big ambitious plans and hey, what am I doing for my relationship with Krishna? Am I doing anything for that? Well, it's in the chanting when we do something for our relationship with Krishna. But only if we mindfully turn to Krishna, if we are attentive towards him, if we feelingly call out to him, only that kind of chanting actually develops our relationship with Krishna. So His Holiness Satchidananda Swami, he came up with this analogy, which I briefly mentioned yesterday, empty capsule. That if we chant without this mindfully turning to Krishna deeply from within the heart, it's not some external thing, it's happening deeply in the heart. If we don't mindfully turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, longing for the relationship, then this kind of chanting is like taking an empty medicine capsule. From outside, it may look like the real thing, but then capsule, we can open it. Usually there's some medicine inside. But yeah, it can also be empty, no medicine, and therefore no effect. Yes, so that's what easily happens in devotees' lives, that they take 20, 30 years of empty capsule, because we don't hear so much about these things, I remember some years ago, we had a holy name retreat outside of Bangalore. There's several, nice temples in Bangalore. So we rented a whole, convention center there, and we had a retreat for all the temples. And there were some senior devotees there, and when we talked about the empty capsule, they seriously got upset. They felt cheated. They were saying, why am I only hearing this after 30 years of practice? Nobody ever told me, what is this? They were actually quite upset. And I tried my best to pacify them. Better late than never. We have spent so many lifetimes in this material world and we didn't hear about it. So yeah, but that's a serious topic, And I've had even disciples of Prabhupada in this holy name retreat in Ekachakra, because Ekachakra makes it pretty attractive. So some people, they just sign up just because they want to spend some time in Ekachakra. And then they think, okay, let me check out this holy name retreat. What is this Devaki doing there? And then they realize, okay, this is pretty interesting. And it's like that, I'm capturing people. And I had in the final sharing session, I had people, Prabhupada disciples, with tears in their eyes, saying, today I realized, for the last 45 years I've been doing something else. I've not been chanting Hare Krishna. I haven't even started chanting the holy name. That's the kind of realization people sometimes get. You know? And talking about my humble self, well, definitely the first 20 years of my 40 years of Krishna conscious practice, I've been taking empty capsules for sure. You know, always maximizing my time. Oh yeah, I'm sitting on the bus today for 2 hours, that's my japa time. You know, like that, yeah. Just to somehow squeeze them in, get them done. Because we put so much attention to the numbers, right? How many rounds are you chanting? How many? But nobody ever asks, so what kind of capsules are you taking? Full ones, empty ones? By the way, there's also a poisonous capsule available, but we don't have time to get into that. But in the False Ego book, there's a whole chapter on chanting. There's the empty capsule and the poisonous capsule also. Yeah. The empty capsule easily fills with poison. Yes. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. That's why I also like to conduct these holy name retreats, especially also for devotees who are just starting off, that I hope I can save a few years of their valuable time, that they're not taking empty capsules for years and years until they finally hear about these things. You know? Yes. Yeah, and it's very simple actually and logical and very clear that if we actually every day we spend 2 or 2.5 hours, whatever it takes to chant our japa, if we spend this time simply trying our best to turn to Krishna, putting our attention to Him, feelingly call out to Him, begging Him, longing, you know. So even if we don't manage for all rounds, but at least every now and again, oh, hang on, this is what I meant to do. Okay, let's try again. You know, so if we just try, something will happen in our relationship with Krishna, right? It's simple and logical. Yes, if we make this endeavor, then our relationship with Krishna will become more and more tangible reality. Yeah. But if we just spend our japa time just rattling something down just to get them out of the way, actually on the absolute platform of re-establishing our relationship with Krishna, this empty capsule has zero effect. Zero. It will not do anything for our relationship with Krishna. There may be some pious results, okay, some material opulence, and we are freed from some reactions to sinful activities, and. But, I mean, I hope that we here, we are not even so interested in that. We want bhakti, right? Yes. So, and on that level, zero effect. Let's be clear on that. So, this may give us some answers to our questions or wonderings. Why, so many things are still going on in people's lives after chanting, for so many years. Well, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, he says, this kind of chanting where you don't turn to Krishna mindfully, consciously, this is not the real thing. This is a shadow, a reflection of the real thing. Yeah. So, I suppose in a minute we have prasadam. So imagine I give you a reflection of a plate of prasadam. Yeah, will you be happy? You know, will this be satisfying? Here, look in the mirror, there's the reflection, you know, so take it, enjoy it, you know. No, will be no satisfaction, right? So same thing, this reflection of the holy name will not do anything, will not satisfy the soul, will not help us to reconnect. Yeah, so for many devotees, this exercise serves as an eye-opener that they realize, oh my God, you know, I've been taking empty capsules for all that time. So yeah, and then, you know, we realize, you know, I've just been wasting my time, you know, taking empty capsules. And it can transform that boring japa, you know, simply mechanically out of duty. It can transform that kind of chanting into my time with Krishna. That's actually what the chanting is meant to be. My time with Krishna. Wow. Yeah. But now it's up to us, once we hear these things, so now it's up to us to put an end to this empty capsule habit, you know. And it makes it very clear, if it's not so easy here, sitting in the temple room in front of the deities, in the presence of Prabhupada, you know, if it's not even so easy here to really turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, what to speak of, you know, going for jolly walks and sitting on the plane and doing this and that. Forget it. Empty capsule for sure. You know. Of course, Prabhupada, his relationship with Krishna was firmly established. That was the reality he was living in. So he, of course, could go for morning walks and sit on the plane and do anything while he was chanting, because he was firmly established in that reality. Nothing could distract him, you know. But we are not there yet. And just our fear of death is another proof how little this relationship with Krishna is actually established. You know, it's hardly established at all in our life. It is very fragile, you know. Yes, and that's why we rather want to stay here in this world and in this body, and we're not so keen on accepting the fact, okay, it's time to go. But if that relationship would be firmly established, then sure, let's go. Krishna has been waiting for us for so many lifetimes. What's the problem? Why hanging around in this miserable place? Even Kenya, there's birth, death, old age, disease, and so many tensions and arguments and quarrels and envy and all this kind of stuff is also happening here. You know, so why hanging around in this place if there's Goloka Vrindavan waiting for us? You know? But we can't see things in these terms because our relationship is not deeply established. That's the problem. So, and that's the main and foremost way to prepare for death, to work on this relationship. So we've got a few elderly people here, including my humble self, so we better take it seriously. Time is ticking. Okay? We better chant. No more empty capsules. Otherwise, at the moment of death, I haven't, you know, given enough attention to this relationship. Krishna is not there, you know. Yes. All right. Well, time is up. Maybe, I don't know. Should we ask for questions or should we just leave it at that? Prabhu, you are the boss.
Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, the line you say serious chanting attentively chanting. It cannot, I think, come at once. Like there is different stages of chanting, like you saying yourself. It takes 30 years to take real capsule.
Well, if we hear about it in our first year of Krishna consciousness, then maybe it goes quicker, you know. But when I joined 40 years ago, nobody was talking about these things, you know. So it doesn't have to be like that.
So we are very fortunate we have such devotees seminars. But same time, holy name is so merciful.
Now comes the excuses, is it?
This is a loving relation with our holy name. So if you don't give the time to holy name, so you are not connecting. It is true.
Yeah.
At same time,
What?
if somebody keep on chanting in any circumstances, any place, means he has some love. Without love, nobody can chant.
I don't agree with this.
Like Prabhupada give an example, like if you say chant Coca-Cola, how long will chant?
Yeah, fair enough.
If I keep on chanting, means you have some attachment.
I wouldn't go that far. Because it can just be some mechanical, out-of-duty thing, you know. I usually say the only benefit of the empty capsule is that we have not quite given up yet altogether. And then there is more chance to attend such a session and hear about the empty capsule. Whereas if we have given up already, and many, even Brahmin-initiated devotees do this, they stop chanting. I know so many. Yeah. So, you know, just continuing somehow mechanically, no. I mean, Bhaktisiddhanta is very clear in this. He even goes that far. He says chanting without longing to serve is useless. That's in Amritavani. Yeah. So let's not try and, you know, find some little way out there. Oh, it's still love. No. It's all about the heart, you know. We can continue in a very external, shallow, ritualistic, you know. Yeah, especially people from an Indian background, they're very much into rituals. It can be just some external rituals, and the heart is not involved, and therefore there's no transformation. And therefore, even after 40 years of ritualistic chanting, the heart is still full of attachment to position, to title, to money, followers. Oh, let's name it. It's all there, you know. So, and we have to be clear in this, because otherwise we may lose the faith in the holy name, that we say, oh, this chanting doesn't work. You know, look at all, you know, this. I'm chanting for 40 years and still my heart is full of envy and attachment and, you know, ambition and wanting to become an important person in this world. So the chanting doesn't work. No, it works, but we have to understand the secret, how to chant. Otherwise we can spend lifetimes. That's what we quote before reciting the 10 offenses. Bahu janma kariyari shavana kirtanam tabutana Krishna pade pramadana. So if we, you know, commit these offenses, we can spend lifetimes, you know, chanting, so-called chanting. Yeah. So we have to be very clear in this, you know. Sorry to.
Not sorry.
Well, because you are,
I understand.
you're the leader here.
Scripture saying, not discouraging to chant. That's why scripture Bhagavad saying, Heleya, by walking, by sleeping, by eating.
Yeah. That's extra. That's extra. But sooner or later, we should get to the point where we really want to explore the deeper levels of chanting. Because to develop bhakti, let's be clear, this is not such a cheap thing. My God, this is a very high aspiration to enter Krishna's personal pastimes, Prabhu. You know, my God, not so cheap. And actually Mahaprabhu makes it so easy, the process. But we need a little bit of sincerity here. All we need is crying out from the heart, you know, and throw our false ego out the window. You know, that's all we actually need. We don't have to be a big pundit and learn so many verses and all that. But yeah, and I mean, see, very often we hear the story, Ajamil, yeah, he just called for his son and he went back to God. But hang on. It didn't go like that, you know. He called his son's name, and then the Vishnu Dutas and the Yamadutas came, and they had a whole discussion. And he heard, you know, he did some Shravanam, and then he felt all regretful. He got some knowledge here, you know. So here we are like the Ajamils who blew it for so many times. So now we get some knowledge. So then he repented, and he went to Haridwar, you know, to some ashram there. And then he completed and perfected his life. So, you know, even this story is often quoted in a very external, shallow way, you know, that, oh yeah, let's call my son Krishna, and just calling my son, I go back to God. But no, that was not how the story went, you know. Yeah. So we have to look at things a little deeper, you know, otherwise we just cheat ourselves, you know, we cheat ourselves, we take it lightly, you know.
It's not a very intelligent question, but it's
or any question is good.
So when I chant, Mataji, I have a habit of doing a dham yatra of what I have experienced in maybe the last visit in Vrindavan, and I like to do temple yatra. I do my darshan of the deities within my mind, not on a phone. We go to holy places, I go around those, and maybe Radhakund, Shamkund, Giriraj, Govardhan Parikrama, what my experiences were. Is that inattentive chanting? I mean, should I not be doing that, especially in my 16 rounds, and should I be focusing on Krishna as much as what I can focus? That's question number one. And second, what should we be thinking? What should be in our mind when we are chanting? I mean, yes, from the heart, yes, we have to have a longing, a cry to a mother, yes, I understand that. But where should the mind be? Should it be with that? I mean, how practically?
Well, you ask a child, what do you think when you cry in desperation for your mother?
That's the mother.
Huh?
The mother.
Yes. Where is my mother? I need her right now. There's no room for any other thinking. So, and to answer your other question, I will read you a quote from my materials of the Holy Name Retreat. From Prabhupada. This was in a lecture in 69. Place doesn't say here. So he says, so we are addressing Hare Krishna, O energy of the Lord, O Lord, please accept me. That's all. Please accept me. We have no other prayer. Please accept me. Lord Chaitanya taught that we should simply cry, and we shall simply pray for accepting us. That's all. So this vibration is simply a cry for addressing the Supreme Lord, requesting him, please accept me, please accept me. That's the answer. So all your nice wandering there, again, it can be just passing the boring japa time in more pleasing way. Just as, oh yeah, it was so nice, blah, 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 you know. But hey, we meant to cry out, please accept me. And then the next step is longing to serve. That kind of chanting frees the heart from all the upadis, false ego, gets scrubbed away, you know? Yes. By longing to serve. Again, if we spend 2 hours longing to serve, sooner or later we get the point, I'm servant. Very simple and logical, you know? Yes. So that's the whole thing in regards to the false ego, chanting, longing to serve. Yeah. That establishes us in Dasya, which is the foundation to all the other rasas. Yeah. It's all in the false ego.
I like the way Mataji you do that. It needs a serious scrub,
yeah? Yes. It's like the harpic for the heart, you know. In India they use harpic in the bathroom. In Europe, domestos. I don't know what they use here in Kenya. What are you using here?
Domestos is one of them.
Domestos. So the domestos of the heart is the holy name. But we have to learn how to use the domestos. You know, if we just splash around there, we're not going to get the effect. So we have to follow exactly the instructions there on the back of the bottle, you know. Yes. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, Prabhupada was also asked whether it's okay to remember different pastimes and try and see Radha Krishna in our mind. And Prabhupada did not approve of it. He said, no, just long to serve, cry out, beg to be accepted. And then after we are purified from this enjoying spirit, then we get to a stage, which is still pretty far away for us all here, where these pictures naturally come within our minds. But in our neophyte stage, we should just long to be accepted and longing for the relationship, you know, and begging to serve. That's our business, you know, yeah, pretty serious business. So I don't know, shall I one more time say something about these books, or am I getting on your nerves gradually with the books? Or what do we do? Or is everybody having the books? No, I don't think everybody's having the books. So what shall I do? Shall I quickly say one more time a few words? I can try and make it brief. Yes, please give them all to me, one copy of each. Yeah, because, I mean, I hope you don't think it's my false ego that I'm just trying to push you to get these books. But no, I feel such great urgency for all these topics. Yes, that's what I feel, because they're all so relevant and practical, you know. Many books we have, it's just leelas or it's high philosophy, but here finally we get something practical, something relevant for our daily spiritual life, how to live it, you know. So, spiritual culture, Krishna's divine system. This book is all about women. We women are so powerful, very powerful energy. A woman can make any man, you know, fall down if she tries hard enough, actually. That's the power of a woman. But a man doesn't have that power, you know? Yeah. So, and this teaches us how to use this Shakti. Bhagavatam says we should be the auspicious source of energy and power of inspiration to man. That's what Bhagavatam says. It's actually a very beautiful role we women are meant to play. But we are not meant to compete with the men. You know, that's what's happening. Because of man-woman equality, the women compete. And that's why in Kali Yuga, the men become weak. And sorry to say, more and more useless and irresponsible. And we women complain about it, but little do we realize how much we contribute to it, because we don't empower them. It's a pretty interesting, it's fascinating to discover how Krishna's system is meant to function. That not only we women need the protection of the man, but most men, Bhagavatam says, most men, unless they're very Brahminical, All other men need that feminine energy to be empowered. Yeah. So this is amazing how Krishna's system is set up, you know. And we often see it when young fellas, they're not brahmacharis, they're not married, they're kind of hanging in between, they're not really motivated enough, you know, because a man needs a beautiful wife next to him, and that gets him going. And then he becomes dutiful and responsible, that channels his masculine energy in a constructive way. But yeah, there's even statistics that all the men who are involved in illegal crimes and violence, they're usually not married. You know? We're not talking about the brahmacharis, of course. But yeah, it's interesting, you know. So a woman really gets the best out of a man. And if he doesn't have that feminine Shakti in his life, he easily goes, you know, in lower levels there, you know. Yes. It does all kinds of weird things, and we don't even want to talk about it. You know, yes, so yeah, that's what this book is all about. Then we have sheltering relationships, about the importance of having a counselor, a mentor, a coach, that just having guru, diksha, shiksha guru, not enough. We need this well-wishing friend in our life who is more experienced, who has no other interest except our spiritual growth and development. And there's also other topics. There's the topic of envy, which we discuss on Tuesday evening, I believe. It's in this book, the culture of correcting others, who corrects whom and how and when, you know, and culture of respect. So many interesting things. And then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. So tomorrow we have a session on the false ego, and yesterday, power of consciousness, and the day before, forgiveness. They're all from this book. It's all related to the false ego. And as I mentioned, there's the whole chapter on chanting, empty capsule, poisonous capsule. It's all in here, and so much more. Yeah. And then entering the Grihastha ashram. This is the matchmaking book. Yes, I think Kenya needs a matchmaking committee. Very important. It's one of the most important aspects of devotee care, believe it or not, to help devotees settle in compatible marriages. Everywhere I go, I meet so many ladies who should be married, who want to be married. Nobody helps them. And then what can they do? Then the temple becomes the place for hunting and fishing, right? Or people say, okay, let me go on the Navadvip Mandala Parikrama. Maybe I meet a nice man there. And then the holy Dham gets all contaminated, and all the women are, you know, showing off there, trying to find somebody here, please take me, I'm available. You know, yes, my God. You know, I heard the statement, Mayapur is not the right place for a brahmachari anymore. Too much hunting and fishing going on. Well, we can't blame the ladies. It's because we don't understand what an important aspect of women's protection this is. You know? Yes. Whole big topic. Yes. And then family life as an ashram, secrets of success. Many married devotees' family life, you can't call it an ashram, a place suitable for cultivating pure bhakti. It's something else. It's a mixture between Griha life and Grihastha ashram. In fact, once when I was giving the course in Mayapur, one devotee was saying, actually we in Iskcon, we are not even on the level of Griha because Griha don't get divorced. They follow all kinds of rules and regulations and charity and this and that, but their purpose is not pure bhakti, purification, but enjoying family life. But at least they're following the rules and they don't get divorced. So we're not even on the level of that. Yeah. And how can we make Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement powerful if we don't clean up our mess, in regards to family life, and actually train our devotees how to create this culture of bhakti in our daily life at home, Yes, so important. People just get married without any training and education. And then that gives the family life a bad reputation, So that's why often people say, oh, Grihastha life, it's a step down. If you can't, be a strict devotee, all right, get married. Hey, what's that? Most of our previous acharyas, they were Grihasthas, but their family life was an ashram. Advaita Acharya, Nityananda, even Mahaprabhu for some years, Prabhupada. I mean, you name it. Most of them were Grihasthas, but they had a strict family life. It was a place suitable for cultivating bhakti, whereas today it's not. And that's why people look down on the Grihastha ashram. And they think, what are these Grihasthas doing? They're just enjoying. They don't make advancement. Well, because we haven't taken training how to actually be a Grihastha. And because our family life is not an ashram, that's why the next ashram is also not established, the Vanaprastha. Very clear. If your family life is not really strict, then you will not get the purification and spiritual maturity to move on to the next phase. And that's why Vanaprastha not established in Iskcon. It's the first book out on that topic even. Nobody plans for it, hardly anybody talks about it. People don't have any clear idea what it means. So many misconceptions that people think the husband puts on saffron and walks out in the middle of the night, never to be seen again. Hey, that's not Vanaprastha, that's irresponsibility. Yes, it's a whole thing, and it's all in the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says so many things in the Bhagavatam, but we just read it over and we miss it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make Prabhupada's teachings more practically accessible to people, how to actually live what Prabhupada says. So it's all based completely on Prabhupada. And there's a whole chapter on death. Very intriguing topic, something we all have to deal with. Good to inform ourselves, confront ourselves, what's happening there on all the subtle levels. As you may have noticed, I'm into the subtleties of things, and then how to prepare and how to support others. I've accompanied quite a few people in this final journey, my own parents also. I managed to catch the time when I had to fly back, park all my traveling, cancelled all my flights. I flew back to Germany. I kept them at home. I fully took care of them. I helped them to focus. I'm describing it all in that book. Both my parents had an amazing departure, even though they were not regularly practicing devotees. Yeah. So all our life, we need good association, and especially in this last phase. And we have to make intelligent plans. I'm describing it all, how to prepare, what to do, what not to do, how to arrange our life. Of course, ultimately it's up to Krishna in the very end. But we have to make good, intelligent plans. We can't just say, oh, it's all up to Krishna. No, we have to plan, Yes, it's all in there. So if anybody wants some books, each book is 2,000 shillings, which may sound a lot, but I have to pay a fortune to get these books here. So that's why I have to, make my ends meet. I'm not writing to make money or something, I'm writing to preach. So that's why I can't make it cheaper than 2,000 shillings, because they come from Mayapur, so it's quite a bit of a way. And to Europe much cheaper. But to here, it's probably not such a common trading route or something, so to send from India is expensive. And I send it by air, of course, otherwise you have to wait for 4 months to get the books, so yeah, so I don't, Peacock is coming. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so I don't have so many copies left, only a few to get now, but I have a whole list of orders I started, so even if you can't get the books today, we'll put your name on the list, and then in 2 or 3 weeks you get it. Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention. Tomorrow we have a session on false ego, Tuesday on envy, and Wednesday morning I'm moving on. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura Premanandi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. The prasad is being set up in the small prayer room on the side, so if you just come from behind and please take some. Hare Krishna.
After you take some books.